Come here now, girl.
Hello and welcome to WhatsMap, your one-stop shop for everything workshop. I'm BonBonB and you're very, very welcome. So today we are back to the front page of the Steam weekly maps, the new releases that are doing really well in popularity, and picking out the ones that deserve to be looked at pretty much immediately. This qualifies. It's got quite a lot of things that really endear it to a lot of players. Lots of build space and lots of coast and a river and mountains for backdrop. Everything that you like. And you know things that you like, well, you should really like them, shouldn't you? That's right, hit the like button really does support the channel, gets me seen by more people and helps me grow a little bit more every single day, so thank you for that support. Okay, today's map is Cascadian Sea by ThatGuyVorian. Not this GuyVorian or another GuyVorian, ThatGuyVorian. Don't know anybody called Vorian myself. There's your start square. Start square looks very usable indeed. The intersection is right bang in the middle. There are your resources. Fertile land running down the valley, and you've got ore and oil off towards the edges a little bit. Okay, off to the workshop. Now, the requirements are the Boreal Summer theme by Mr. Miyagi. The 81 tile mod isn't really a requirement, although it's suggested. The two intersections aren't truly requirements because, well, I haven't subscribed to them. You'll see they'll appear anyway because they are just basically nodes and elevations. And we are using the realistic version 1.2 LUTs because we always do when none is asked for. Okay, so here we are. We are down at ground level and already you can tell that rail runs pretty much alongside the roads. We're going to concentrate on the roads and we'll have a look at the rail a little bit later on where it diverts away from the roads, but it is mostly kind of like shadowing the roads. Roads pretty solid, they're not drifting around too much. Bridge, is it a perfect looking bridge? Are the pillars aligned and all that kind of stuff? And I would say yes. I would say that is a nice looking bridge. Well done you. Now the rail's off on its own little track now. A little bit put off by this tree, if I'm honest with you. I'd rather it wasn't there. The little one on the other side isn't so distracting, but that big one, just a bit much, I think, close to the river's edge between the two bridges. Just a personal call. Can't really mark anything down for that. So these plopped intersections are from the workshop. The great thing with plopped intersections is you can plop them down. You don't have to do any work with them whatsoever. They are always 100% flawless, like this one. Remember, I haven't subscribed to this. This is, you don't need to, unless there's anything specific within an intersection that does require like a specific road or something like that. Let's check for pillars. Pillars look good. Nothing there. The heights of the bridges are just right as well. Oh, lovely. Excellent. That's a great thing. Like I say, plop down the intersection and you'll have no problems with it at all. Oh. Or maybe you will have problems with it. See, that's the problem with ploppable intersections, is you can't just plop them down. You have to do a little bit of work with them to make them work. You cannot rely on somebody else's work in your own map. And that is instant loss of maximum stars. You can't get away with it. I'm sorry. But anyway, there we are. That's the intersection down towards the start square. Well, we are well in the start square, if you remember rightly. Lots of flat build playing around there as well. And somewhere around here should also be today's asset of the day. And now this is just a little bit ironic, isn't it? Spence has probably spent a lot of time making these modern dormitory buildings, and there are a lot of them here that I've pushed together into this shape. Of course, you can make your own shapes. This isn't realistic. This is just me having a bit of fun. Of course, he's made this, and what's been announced this week? Campus. Well, I'm sorry, Spence, but I still think it's well worth a look, this one. And if you're not going to buy the DLC, this is definitely worth subscribing to. Factoids, because factoids. John Wayne, do you remember him? Yeah, get off your arse. And no, I'm not going to do the accent. I can't do accents. Stop teasing me about my accents. He started his film career as a prop man at Fox's Studios. Bring us the horse, you. And while you're there, bring us some milk. Anyways, modern dormitory buildings by Spence. I like these. That's great work, Spence. Today's asset of the day. Isn't it just ironical that you make an asset for your campus and then in the background, yeah, Colossal Order have been making, hang on. Intersections here. Notice how the roads here on this intersection are much closer together than the roads on this intersection. And the way that the highways have been just forced together to bring them together. And you will get together over here, causing some kind of little jinky janky at this junction. And also that car having to cut the corner because of it. It's just a little thing. And it's just a little bit of we're just talking about polish here. We're not talking about major disasters. Now, that road goes off to the fog through a tunnel. But this way there are more tunnels and bridges and things. So we'll go this way instead. Don't need to say every bit of road, do you? Do you really? Anyway, you've got another one of these three-way intersection things here. They're lovely things. I've got to say, I do like them. And then down here, now this bridge, let's have a look at it. Nice, slow, gentle ramp upwards. Nice suspended bit in the middle. Nice, slow, gentle. You'd say that is the perfect bridge, wouldn't you? I would say it could be more so. It's not bad. It's not bad at all. I can't really fault it that much. But I would do this. First of all, let me call it up and move it. And we'll choose a couple of nodes. Couple of nodes. Oh, come on. And I drag them out a little bit. And I would lower them down just a fraction. So we still get our nice smooth slope like such. And do the same on the opposite side as well. Just to extend the suspended bit out a little bit more. Just a fraction. Drop them down a little bit. And we need to do the same with these two nodes here as well. Drop them down there. Right, now, compare and contrast. Pretty much identical, but I've just tweaked that bridge a little bit. Let me know in the comments, do you prefer that, or if I undo everything, there we go, or do you prefer it as it was? Be honest, I wouldn't ignore the dancing trucks there. Oopsie, sorry about that, trucks. I should have warned you. I was going to be using Move It. Anyway, yes, pathfinding, always very funny. Okay, down here we have the tunnels. Now, regulars to the show will know what I'm going to go on about here. The tunnels are just diving into the mountain a little bit there. That's fine, because they come out down here. Oh, this is quite heftily elevated, isn't it? Let's just check the level that these tunnels go in. Now, I'm just going to follow that contour line around here and just see whether the exit is, well, it wants to be slightly higher, doesn't it? Because that tunnel is going upwards. So we're just going to follow that contour line all the way around here. Actually, I've lost track of exactly which one it is. I don't know if you managed to keep track of it, but I know it's one of those 2 or 3. That's that one there, actually. It's that one there. Yep, got it. And then around here, and yeah, we're a good 10 meters higher. A good 10 meters higher. And yet, this tunnel goes in downwards. And that tunnel over there comes out upwards. Okay. And then down here, we've got, again, elevation as we're going into the tunnel. And the tunnel emerges all the way over here. Even skips that little part in the middle there. And then here, look how steep this is. This is just silly. That is just sillily steep. Sillily? Sillily. Sillily. Yes. Calling Shakespeare, we need the sillily. Over here, it goes off to the fog. So we'll have a look at the rail. I'll show you this bit of rail. It's a bit disinteresting, to be honest with you. There's nothing wrong with it. I will point out I have forgotten to switch back on the catenaries after yesterday's show. So there are no catenaries. That is my fault. That said, it wouldn't have affected anything, to be honest with you. There's nothing encroaching onto what would be the wires. I have had a little look down here. It all looks pretty good to me. So it's not a huge issue if you're playing without the catenary replacer mod. I like to. I'm not. I say it 1,000 times in each show, but I'm not a fan of catenaries. It's only solely because I don't have them local to me. It's what you're used to, isn't it? Okay, down here, I will show you this though. I've got a little bit of a minor grumble about this down here. See the way the rail goes over the road. In this sort of instance, I'd rather the road went over the rail, That said, it is gentle and smooth and believable in terms of slopage, so I'm going to give it that. I would say though maybe it needs to be a wee bit higher. Nothing's clipping through, but it is a little bit tight. You know, sometimes large items are, you know, moved down these highways and freeways and whatever. You need a little bit more clearance. But other than that, I think that's a pretty reasonable job for a rail over road. I just prefer road over rail. Right, okay, let's take a couple of moments to catch our breath and have a little listen to what Zach's got to say.
Are you confused with the difference between a mod and an asset? And what's the deal between a theme and a LUT? Then you need BonBonB's Beginner's Guide to Mods, Assets, Themes, and LUTs. Click the information button now.
And we're back at Cascadian Sea by ThatGuyVorian and the shipping routes. Now, the shipping routes in general look quite good. I would suggest though, instead of having two, we have just the one. The crossover. And we know what's going to happen there. We're going to have ships do a complete turnabout and go back the way they came. And then down here we've got a ship heading it along here. And then we've got another crossover here. Don't really need the double crossover. There are plenty of ways of covering both sides of that central island. Water flow. We've got a couple of rivers and they do work as rivers. They're little topped up with little water sources as we're going along. And as we head out to see past the start square, through the start square, movement through the start square. That's everything we could ask for. And goes out to sea there. Now, speaking about going out to sea, got a minor aesthetic grumble about this. I just like it to see sort of like smoothed out a bit. You know, see the way that it's just like pouring out to sea. I know it does happen. It does happen. I know that. I just I'm not a personal fan of it. I don't see very many instances of rivers being quite as steep as that as they actually reach the ocean. Right, speaking of ocean, why have we got all these felled trees on the beach? I don't fully understand why. It's the only place we got felled trees and they're on the beach. Maybe we're trying to make it a nice beach for people to come to, but seems a bit weird to me. Speaking of beaches, like we've got all these inlets here. I'm going to suggest that this is like, oh, look at the driftwoods and stuff. This is definitely beach. And you can see that the high tide mark is right the way up here. So clearly the water gets all the way in there to push the sand all the way up there. Do you agree? Do you agree with me? I'm glad you agree with me. Thank you. Let's just check how high the high tide mark is. 2. And then so the third one is there. 4, 5, 6. And that is 7, 8. It's about 8 meters. It's about 8 meters. That dips back down again there. So that's about 8 meters to high tide. Okay, because we could have the tides mods, couldn't we? We could use it. But this little island over here, if the tide comes in 8 meters, that is completely submerged by 5 meters. It doesn't make an awful lot of sense to me. Tree placement on the beaches as well. In some places that I don't mind. See the way it's encroaching down onto the beach? I get that. I get that. It's called blending. It sort of like moves one biome into another. This little cluster of trees right by the saltwater edge, not buying that. Maybe if that was on a little grassy knoll or something like that, I could get that more, but I don't buy them in a cluster. Individual trees, they happen. And so these individual ones, I'd let them go. They are just an occasional thing. But those clusters so close to the water, doesn't make any sense to me. On the other hand, the trees on the mountains are excellent. Excellent work. The mountains are excellent. I'm loving them. Completely, massively too big in terms of realism. But this isn't really a realistic map. This is a builder's map. This is just for backdrop. And these mammoths, well, they are mammoths, aren't they? Wow. And the tree placement on here is excellent. I'm loving the tree work there. And I think everything that I've said against the beach, I can come back and say, give a plus score for the mountains. Plus, if you wanted to get into the mountain and do some building in the mountains, you've got this valley as well. That's just an extra bonus, I guess. So what do you think? Is it a 1-star map? Is it a 5-star map? Is it somewhere in between? Your vote really does count. We use it at the end of the month for the Viewer's Choice Top 10. Will this be one of the top 10 maps of the month? Only you can decide. As for me, I'll let you know now. I'll let you know now. Aesthetically, I think the mountains are a 4. A good 4. I think everything else is a 3, and there's a lot of everything else. And the beach is probably a high 2. I'm going to give it a 3, all told, for aesthetics. Detailing, again, there's 1 or 2 big sins, 1 or 2 sins. The rest of it is either okay or quite good. And so across the middle again, I'm going to give it 3 stars. For gameplay potential, it's playable. I'm enticed. I'm actually enticed personally. There's a couple of things that need fixing that will prevent it from getting anywhere near a 5. A few distracting things, but I think it's well worth 4 stars straight through. Very, very, very well done, ThatGuyVorian. 4 stars for gameplay is what you're looking for. That's Cascadian Sea by ThatGuyVorian, not this guy Vorian or the other guy Vorian. Shall I shut up about Vorian now? I think I probably should. Well, thank you very much for watching, for commenting, for liking and for subscribing, and for joining me for another What Map review. Guess what's going to happen tomorrow? Another What Map review. And of course, there's an old map on the screen now if you want to go and have a little vote on that. The vote went on this morning. This morning it went on. And of course, there's so much other stuff. Just remember to subscribe, please. Thank you. See you tomorrow.